out there, ladies and germs. Back with another Rutbusters session with the captain. And we were just chatting about things that we'd like to do, and it came up that possibly chord embellishment-y stuff might be something interesting. So frame me the question of what I might be able to help you with.
Well, I think like a lot of guitar players, you always perhaps are impressed more while you're learning with the players that have got all the lead whizzy chops. And inevitably, I think that's what you always sort of think, oh yeah, that's what I want to learn. And then as you kind of get more mature as a player, not mature in age, but just as in, you know...
Or age too.
Yeah, age too, but just you start to realise that actually the guys with the super good chops, particularly probably the guys that are earning money out of playing the guitar, are the ones that play all the good chords.
You Robbie McIntoshes.
Yeah. I was saying to you before, you know, it's when I'm jamming with Pete, you know, that's the big difference. When he says, right, these are the chords, I play those 4 chords in the right order, in the right tempo, you know, and he plays how like a professional guitar player would play those 4 chords. You know, there's a little, you know, the chords are not necessarily all the chords from the first page of the chord book, you know, and the chords are, there's little embellishments to the transitions. And so I thought, okay, for Rutbuster 7, 6?
Yep, 7.
Rutbuster 7. It's like the world's most ongoing terrible movie, isn't it? Jaws 9 in 4K.
2 old blokes with the walking sticks. Rutbuster
Or is it
562.
Rutbuster Nado.
So if we, like in that little jam at the beginning, I was just playing A minor to D.
Yes.
That was it. But I was kind of overdoing it, and if I was soloing over somebody and they were playing that many chords, it would probably give me the irks. But,
right, okay.
But I was just trying to kind of put it in the frame of the idea that when it says A minor on the page, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can go through. So for A minor, we can do things like we can use sus chords, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail later on. But we can have A sus2, A sus4.
What's the sus bit mean?
We're going to come back.
Is it an abbreviation of a word though?
Suspended. But I'm going to teach you all about sus chords.
No, I just
give me
what
10
the word
minutes.
Was. Yeah.
So I can do all of these different A sus chords here. I could do them as well here in another position on other parts of the guitar. There's lots of different ways of playing the sus. But as well, I could have like A minor 7, A minor 7, A minor 13, A minor 11, A minor 6, A minor 13, minor 9, minor 7, minor 30. There's all of these chords. These are all minor things.
That's it. Perfect. You got that, everybody?
Yeah,
End of the
absolutely.
lesson. Okay, bye. See you in episode 8. Joking.
So let's start off with talking about sus chords.
Okay.
It's a really, really interesting, very cool little trick that we can use for embellishing the chords. You remember that when we talked about triads the other week, we had like a root note, a third note, and a fifth note, which was the first, the third, and the fifth note of a major scale, right?
Yes.
So if we did it in C, we had like C, D, E, F, G. So C, D, E, F, G. C, E, and G.
Yep.
3 notes, yeah? So if I play them on the guitar, that's C, E, and G. Okay, we can do it lots of different ways, like lots of other ways of playing C, E, and G, but that's a good starting one. Now, suspended doesn't really mean, but you can think it means take away the third and replace with. And there are
always
two.
The third.
Always the third. That's always the
okay.
one that we're going to take away. And the 2 common sus chords that we see are sus2 and sus4. So if we start with sus4, we're going to take away the third and replace with the 4th. So the 4th note in the C major scale was going to be C, D, E, F.
F, yeah.
So there was our E note there on the 9th fret of the 1 semitone above. Okay, and straight away you can hear that sound. I often think the resolution of the chord is suspended. That's why it's got that name.
It's also, I guess, the reason you hear that so much in music is it's just really easy.
It's the same.
Yeah. It's a really easy
it's a real
change,
Hendrix nice one. It's really nice on open chords too. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So that's sus4.
Yeah.
Sus2, we replaced the third, which was the note E, and replaced with the note D, which is the second note of the scale. Yeah, really, you can. It's a very open soundy.
Very Pink Floydy.
Very Floydy, U2. Lots of guys use that sort of this sound.
So you're not changing the minor nature of the chord.
Or the major. No, so
sorry, yeah,
good.
so
No,
not,
this is a good.
So you're not changing whether it's major or minor here. You're just giving a different flavour. So
yeah, you're just on the cusp of something, which is, what was the note that was major or minor in the chord before? Ooh, what note?
I wasn't going there, but so in the chord.
So like in the major triad or a triad, we had root note, third, and the fifth.
Yeah.
Which one of the notes, the third or the fifth, was the note that we changed to make things major or minor? Do you remember?
I'd have to.
Let's do it on an A chord. Play an A major chord. And then what's the note that you changed to make it an A minor chord?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No,
so
play it.
Right.
So there's A major. Play A major. No,
just the chord.
Just the chord. Now play A minor, which is the one note that changed. That note, which is what? What note's that? You better know this. You better have learned these notes. No.
I'm going to guess then. I don't know. It'd be the fifth, I suppose.
No.
Okay.
Okay. What note is it? What's the note name of that note?
That is a C. No, hang on.
Okay, so the open string is what? What's the open second string? Okay, B. So one fret up from that will be
C.
C, and that one will be
C sharp.
Yes, C sharp. Okay, so if we're thinking A, B, C, it's the third.
Right. Okay, it's the third.
So the third note of the chord is the third note of the scale is what makes it a major chord.
Right.
And if we flatten the third of the chord, it becomes a minor. Okay, so A, B, C sharp.
Yeah.
That was the C sharp note made it A major. And if we made that note go down one semitone, it became A minor, right?
So we're going.
Hang on, negative. Yep. Yes, exactly. We've just changed one note, which was the C sharp note. We made it into a C natural note. That's the only difference.
And that is the third.
That's the third of the scale.
On all sus chords, though, you're playing with the third, though, aren't you?
Aha! All sus chords, we take away the third.
Right.
So when you talk about sus chords, they're neither major or minor, which is another reason why they're so useful. So let's check this out on a D chord, because this is really cool if you haven't done it before. Here's a D. Play a regular D for us.
Yeah.
Now, to get a D sus chord, we have to just change this note, which is the third of the chord.
Yeah.
We move it up one semitone. This is a D sus 4. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then take it off. We go back to regular D. And then lift off the second finger. Just lift it off. That's it.
Oh, the second.
That's it. And that's a D sus 2. So there's D. D sus 2, D sus 4, little finger down, that's it. Lift it off. And then lift off, you've lifted off second finger already. Lift off second finger now. That's D sus 2.
But they also, so what you're saying is the sus 4 and the sus 2 are neither major or minor.
So watch this. Here's a D, D major chord, right?
Yeah.
Sus 4, sus 2. Here's minor. There's sus 2, sus 4. So I can use them as embellishments for either major or minor. So these kind of embellishments have been used forever. There's loads of examples of all of that stuff, particularly like the 90s rock thing, your Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, all of that.
Great tune.
Okay, all of those little...
Yeah.
Or they're all, it's sus licks.
They're all sus licks.
Okay, minor ones. Okay, D sus 2 minor, sus 4 minor, sus 2 minor. Whatever that REM song was, that uses it. And that's just D minor, D sus 2, D sus 4, and D minor again. So you can see all of those are substitutes for either D major or D minor, and it works right across the board. So really, you see straight away now, if I'm seeing in the music D, or I see the music D minor, I can play, and that was just an open chord version. They all work as bar chords as well.
So would you ever see a sus chord played in isolation, or is it only you would? So you could,
because they on their own they sound pretty atmospheric. I think is it, like they've got these. If I played just D sus 2, it's got a little floaty kind of.
And
sus
could you
4
then
tends to want to resolve, but
that doesn't. And then from that sus 2, it doesn't really depending on what the next chord you throw in is going to decide whether or not
whether it's major or minor, or whether like the piano player plays the note that would make it major or minor, or the bass player might go,
oh, I see,
and then he's played the major note. So then as soon as they do that, the tonality shifts to either major or minor.
Yeah.
But in that moment when it's just by itself, it is a bit ambiguous, and you could use either one.
So how many other sort of sus is the 4 and the 2 the kind of the two big ones, or it can be sus anything?
No, it can only be sus 2 or 4 because that's the only other note between the root note and the fifth. Because you've got the root note, second, third, fourth, fifth. Right. So you can't take away the third and replace with the seventh. That just doesn't work.
So any chords where you see like A7 or whatever, that's an embellishment of a major chord. It's not.
It's not to do with sus. It's not. You can have 7 sus 4, which we'll talk about in a little bit when we start talking about.
That would still make sense. Because if there's a third note in a 7 chord, you can remove it and
you can remove it and play the fourth. Yeah.
Okay. That's very Beatlesy.
I mean, is that
a Beatles? I mean, is that? Or what are you playing there?
A bit of that Hard Day's 90s sort of sound.
I don't know what you're playing, are you? Oh, you play.
Yeah, that's it. It's like an A7 on a D7 on the wrong strings. But you've got things like this, the Crowded House intro, which is a sus 2 chord, a bar chord one. We're going to learn that right now. Okay, so that was a D, sus 4, sus 2. I'm going to write all of these down for you. I can even work that out because, of course, if the D is like that and that's the third. Yes. And then you replace that with the second. So you're. And how would you play D sus 4 then? Yay!
So sus chords are like they're all over the place. Everybody's probably playing them, just not realising.
That isn't quite how you play that riff, by the way. There's another note in it, but it sounds a lot like it. But on a bar chord, this is an A shape. Okay, so you understand? This is a D chord, right? Yeah. But because it's kind of parent shape is this, we'd call this an A shape. Okay, so on an A shape chord, little finger goes down on the 1 fret above the third finger on the second string. For your sus chord, back again. And then you change it so it kind of looks like a D power chord, but you play those thinnest 2 strings. That would be a sus 2 chord using an A shape. Yeah. Yeah? Now, so that's another version. It could also work here, Lee. So watch it on there's A sus 2, A sus 4, A. So.
That's interesting. You've learned to play.
Yeah, I play A differently to you. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. I think this is a better way to play A, but if you've learned it the other way, it's going to be real difficult to change. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just.
That's it. Yeah. So if you use a traditional finger, it'd be that. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be the A-shaped ones. Now. An interesting thing happens with some of the other ones. Actually, let's do E first because that's it's first easy and then hard. Yeah. So the third of the chord was where on this chord? That one there with the first finger, okay? Yeah. So if we're going to play E sus 4, we're going to place a note, a semitone above the third. Yeah. So little finger just goes down there.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So the second is more difficult.
Well, the second, because if we lift off first finger, now we've got a minor, E minor. And really, if we wanted to go, we'd need to go another semitone down to get to the sus 2, but we can't play backwards down there.
We've got to find it somewhere else.
Okay, so in this position, to try and play an E sus 2 chord is possible, but it ends up looking like a kind of a B chord.
Oh, of course, because not only have you got to find it, you also can't play the open G string, can you?
Yeah, yeah. So you'd have to play it like this, which looks like a B power chord with the strings open. So realistically, you just don't play using that shape, a sus 2 chord. It's just awkward in that way.
Yeah, I mean, you're.
No, lift up the first finger. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, but that would be an E chord, not a B chord, even though it felt like it would be.
But you are playing it. If you can't see, we're playing the open.
Yeah, yeah. 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 I mean, it works. It's just it's a little bit weird under the fingers.
Yeah.
So where the other chords are, the other sus chords, and I'm going through them in a kind of an order that I'll explain to you at the end of this session. But on the C chord, the third of the chord in a C chord with what note?
A B. No, sorry, an E.
An E, good.
Sorry.
Okay, so what are the notes that we're playing on this C chord? This is C, E. What's the third string open?
G.
G. The first fret on the second string?
C.
Good. And the thinner string?
E.
E. So to play a sus4 chord, we have to take away the E and replace with an F, right?
Yes.
So if we take away that low E here and replace with F, that's cool.
Yeah.
But we've got this, we've still got an E up here.
That's okay, isn't it?
It sounds nice, doesn't it? So,
You wouldn't.
no, you can't. Okay, so to
So
play,
you could replace both.
You could replace both, and if I was doing a session and it said C sus,
Yeah.
I wouldn't play with the E because if it says so in the chart, it's not obviously an embellishment. It's the composer's intended there.
Right.
So probably like the singer's going to sing the note F, and if I play this chord and play E note on the top, it might freak the singer out, right? So I would play if it said so in the sheet music, but if I'm just playing for fun and I'm using it as an embellishment, which is actually the conversation,
Yeah.
interesting one.
I did something
Yeah,
different.
you did like an F minor chord.
F minor, yeah.
And if I'm using it as an embellishment, it doesn't matter, right? So I can use little finger down there as a sus4, lift it off, and then second finger lift it off to get sus2. And now look at what we've got for C. Look. It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great trick. If you're strumming a C chord, to have those things available every time, you think about how many we've done so far. We've learned all of these different shapes.
Yeah.
Now, there's another interesting. So we could also do this, by the way. It tends to sound a bit crap. If you change the E to the F on
just
the
the
top
top one.
But you don't change the bottom
Yeah,
one,
it doesn't sound so good, does it?
it just sounds a bit like.
They're sort of discordant.
They're not playing very nicely, those two. So I just thought I'd point that out, that it is there, and in theory you could try it out, but it just
I
doesn't
get it.
sound
No,
good.
I mean it's yeah. Well, I mean I this is just one of those nice moments where all that's really happening is you're sort of giving meaning to lots of chord embellishments that
Exactly, because you've done it
guitar players
before.
would know
Exactly,
anyway.
most people do it, but
Yeah.
I think the good thing about understanding it as well is that it means that you can use it in new ways, and that you can actually put you can use an idea in a lot of different ways than the idea that you just first learned it in. So like being able to use the sus chords against major or minor chords is something that you might know this, but you never thought, oh, I could do it on a D as well. You know, you're expanding the way you can use
the
it.
fact that it's allowed and works, so it's you don't have to sort of wait for a song to feel like you could be able to, you just know that you can, if that makes
Absolutely,
sense.
and you understand. It's almost
just
like
go
having
there.
a license for it.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's literally
I can
just
do
like,
that now.
It's okay, don't
Yeah.
worry, you're not going to sound wrong if you do that in a chord. You know, if the song says, you know, if you know the song is C blah blah blah,
Yeah,
chuck it in.
yeah, exactly.
It's not going to sound
there's
wrong.
There's one little thing. There's one twist of this, which there's one point in the theory where a sus4 chord isn't a great chord.
Okay.
Right? But to try and explain it to you would just be overcomplicating something that you'll hear straight away.
Yeah.
That you'll just, if you do it, you just have to keep your ears open. Whenever
Yeah.
you're doing this sort of thing, if you just go blindly into theory says I can do this and you're not listening, you're going to end up in trouble, right? You have to listen to what you're doing and go, oh, this sounds cool, therefore it is cool.
Yeah.
Rather than if it sounds good, it is good. Don't allow yourself to go, well, the theory said that I could play this chord, because if it sounds bad, it is bad. Yeah, makes sense?
I'm just going to try and work out on the G with
Okay.
no prior prompting.
There you go.
So I'm just, because I was thinking, so that's the third.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
But I'm guessing that change there requires obviously lifting off of the root note. So you might not want to do that, but I'm guessing that's where that.
Lee? What about that?
Yeah. But isn't it played? So I just need to.
Stop. Stop, 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 stop. How else can you, stop, leave, stop. How else can you play a G chord? You can play a G chord, no, open position. The way that your granny would have taught you.
Like that?
Yay! Now where's the third of the chord?
Hang on a second. There.
Yeah, okay, you should do it by ear. I'm still wanting to learn the names of the notes in the open position because that would be a really good thing to learn. Okay.
So you can just lift on and off your...
Hang on, I'll show you a little trick. When I play a G chord, I very, very rarely play this note, and I notice that most of the really good guitar players that I like also don't.
Well, I know the trick chord.
Yeah.
I mean, that if you don't want to play the A string at all.
This note, because it's a third of the chord and it's really low down compared with the root note, it generally sounds a bit messy. So if I play this, if I take that note away, it sounds kind of brighter and nicer than this. It's a bit muddy. If I take it away, I'm still getting all of the happy majorness from the second string. If you're going to do this chord with the two fingers on the thinner strings, you kind of need it because it's the only third of the chord. So without it, if you take that one away, which is how I would play that chord, by the way. If I was playing a rock G, I wouldn't be playing that note, especially with distortion. It sounds horrible. But that's now officially a G5 chord because it is only actually G, D, G, D, G. It's only got the root notes and the fifth notes in it, which would be the same as a power chord.
Okay.
So, but if you're going to play a G chord like this, I don't think you need that note. I don't think it sounds nice. So here, try it like this. Little finger, third finger playing the thicker string. That's it. And little finger playing the thinner string. Now, your third finger won't help but mute that string. If you tried to play that fifth string open, that would be really difficult, right? That's it. Yeah. Other good advantage with this chord is that changing to a C chord is real easy, and you often see C and G chord together. Yeah. So if you've got something, third finger. That's it. Then to a C, back again. No. That's it. Yeah. If you haven't done it before, it's really awful. But if you get used to it, look how quickly that changes.
But doesn't everyone do C to G like?
No.
No.
Nope. But no.
Oh, it's weird because it.
Yeah. No, third and fourth fingers. Third and fourth. Third and fourth. Third and fourth.
No, I know.
That's it.
I was just trying to decide. I can see what you mean. If I could muscle memory that G chord up, then.
Okay. Now, those viewers at home that have done my beginner's course will know what I'm going to say already, which is I do this little exercise called 1 minute changes, and I drill it and I drill it and I drill it because it's the hugest problem when people are first learning guitar is doing chord changes.
Yeah.
I still use it myself if I find a chord that's new that's difficult. So what you want to do is set a timer on your phone, and when you come into work for your little morning practice session, if you did this, you hit timer, start, and you do it as many times as you can in 1 minute. If you did that for a week, that chord would just be smashed.
That is 100%. That's how I started playing guitar, and religiously. I mean, God, it must have been so boring now. But religiously, I would just go. But except, of course, that's not what happened. What would happen is you'd go.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what learning guitar looks like.
But honestly though, like as you say, and it's not even an hour, but like 50 repetitions of that or whatever, and all of a sudden you are going.
Exactly. So that's what I want you to do with that chord.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. Learning G like this also opens up all this sort of stuff. So you can get all of these like. You've got all of these fingers that can do widdly stuff behind, which is quite nice, right? Not I made that kind of sound country, but it works in lots of other styles as well. It's a nice, nice trick. So have a go. Just a little note, Pete. If you can add it to Lee's practice schedule for us, that would be brilliant. So, sorted. Yeah. Okay. So, where's sus4? Now where's G sus4? So
4.
G sus4
is. We said it.
Yes, that's it. Perfect.
So
that's it.
So, but where's the sus2 then?
Okay, so sus chord is sus2 is.
So that's the third, isn't it? Which is also here. So the third is.
Second is yes, good. It's the note A.
So we're going. chord. I might play it with the first finger.
Do you remember I said like about 2 minutes ago that there's little difficulties with all of the other chords? So you're doing it right here. Look, if you do this way, you got the note right. You managed to figure out that it was the note A for the sus2, and you played it like that, which I must say is a lovely sounding chord.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're also playing the B in there. That way, you're playing the B, which is the third of the chord. So it's not a sus chord now. We'd call it an add 9 or an add 2. But
because
it doesn't matter. You haven't replaced the third. So actually, to play a sus2, you'd have to go back to that your old friendly, familiar one and drop your first finger down. That's it.
I mean, that's super John Mayer, all that kind of...
Yeah.
What note's this? Is that the...
In what?
In the G. Because
that's the major 7th. So when he does that, it's actually changing to a D chord. So
right.
As far as I know, I haven't actually. I've only heard it. Right. I haven't watched it.
Yours sounded better than mine, but
anyway. So that's where I think he's getting that D, the F
so
sharp
I
note.
see. So to play a G sus
2, yes, that's it.
But to play a G sus4,
yes. However, just to throw a spanner in the works, rather than having to change to that sus2, the same as with the C chord, I said, look, in theory you'd have to change both of them, but in practice it sounds cool just to add it.
Yeah.
It's the same with the sus2, because if you're doing it as an embellishment, that's a great chord to have. You can just kind of go for town. This note here is also, this is the 6th. We've learned about how wonderful 6ths are. So then you've got this. All of those notes sound good behind there. Again, loads of great. Sheryl Crow song, one of the finest grooves. So there's all of these songs that have got. Oh, now I'm going to do now a little summary, and I'm going to introduce a new. Explain the rough bearings of another idea that we're going to explore in the next video.
Great.
Okay? So, you've heard of the cage system, you said earlier.
Yes.
Have you got any idea what it means or what the point is?
I've had enough people comment in videos saying that you should really learn the cage system, and someone else saying that fundamentally it's a set of shapes that doesn't change regardless of whereabouts on the fret. But that's kind of
okay. Yeah,
that's
kind
about
of right.
as all I've
so,
ever.
There's only 5 shapes on the guitar, and every chord and every scale and everything that you learn fits into one of them.
Okay.
There's a few ways, and before the nitpickers come at me, yes, there's a couple of other systems like the 3-note string system, which kind of bridges stuff, but as a general theme in the history of guitar, things fit into the 5 patterns. And the 5 patterns are C, A, G, E, D. Right, caged. That's why it's called caged.
Oh, okay.
And if you think about your chord shapes, every chord that you know is one of those 5 shapes. So C, let's do C chord.
That's right.
C, A.
I might have got to play them properly, or am I allowed to?
Whatever you like. G, E,
D, E, sorry.
And then D. What other chord shapes are there?
F. Well, no, that's just an E shape.
Exactly. F is an E shape, and what's the other one? The other
B,
one, B, which is really a C shape. Yeah, so B7 like this. Like, that B would be an A shape moved up, or this B is kind of like a C shape moved down. If you a C7 moved down.
Okay. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. So it's that chord. You know, C7 like this. Look. Yeah. If you move all of that down, but then you need to find a note on the thinner string, and it just happens to. Anyway, so the point of all of that is that whenever you learn stuff, if you learn it in the 5 shapes, you've found a way of playing over the whole neck, because those 5 patterns link together like this. Watch, there's C shape, A, G, E, and D. And then it's back to C. So if you can see, now that was all C chord. C using a C shape, C chord using an A shape, C chord using a G shape. You can imagine like having a kappa or whatever. C chord using an E shape, C chord using a D shape. It's like saying seashells on the seashore, and then there's another C shape. So that is why when we're talking about learning stuff in the cage shape, and you should learn about the cage system, if you learn all your scales and all of your chords relative to that, you can therefore piece them together on the fretboard a lot easier.
I don't think I understand
what you mean. So if you learn, let's say, this one, and you know that this is D shape, and you learned, oh, there's D sus2. If you wanted to use that shape as an A chord, if you've learned your cage system properly and you know that that D shape can be played here as an A chord, you can then lift off that finger and play A sus2. And it's just it's expanding that box.
So the cage system is all about chords. It's nothing to do with licks as such.
Well, it is, because every scale that you learn would fit around one of those. So if we look at this, that fits around this one, then this one, and this would be all of your. So each major scale fits around the chord shape.
And you're just finding the root note, are you, within that, and playing the major scale?
Exactly, around it. And then when you learn the major scale around the chord shape, you automatically learn where the second is, where the third is, where the sixth is. So it's the thing that binds your knowledge of your scales and your chords. It kind of puts it all together. It's a big deal. But what I want to do for today, just to kind of round out the lesson, I wanted to give you a taster of what we're going to do next session.
Okay.
But if you learn your sus chords on each C, A, G, E, and D, you've essentially learned it all over the fretboard as well. We're going to do that in the next session about how to look at doing that. But if we just go through, so C chord, let's do it like this. So there's C. Where's C sus4?
C sus4 is here.
Yeah, little finger down. Okay, so don't worry about having to play the thinner string as well. It doesn't really matter. You can use it as an embellishment that way. Yeah, exactly. And C sus2. Good. And then hammer that little baby down. There you go. Yeah, okay. So there's C, A chord. Where's A? Okay, A sus4. Good. Yeah, that's it. A sus2. Good. Now C, A, G. Good. Sus4. Sus2 first of all, while you're on that finger. Oh no, okay, good. Sus4. Excellent. And then sus2. Yeah, exactly.
But I can't play the.
You can.
I shouldn't really play that, should I? I know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really a sus2 chord, it's a sus2 embellishment, we can call it.
But I can actually use that finger to mute the...
yeah, okay, there you go. Perfect as well. C, A, G, E. So where's E? E sus4. Good, and E sus2 we scrapped because it was too difficult to play. We'll worry about that next lesson. Exactly. Oh, look, he's a clever cookie today. Oh, you said you were tired, man. More awake than me. Okay, C, A, G, E, D. So D chord, last of all, D. sus4, that's the one.
And we're doing it then.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
But the same reason you'd struggle to play an F sus2, right? Is the same reason you struggle to play, because it's a horrible...
Except F sus2 is my favourite chord of all time. So I'm just, there's the F. I'm refingering it.
Let me work this out. So I can, we want the sus, I've got to find the 4, which is... here,
sus2, sus2.
Sorry, the 2 is...
Which is down a tone from second finger.
It's here?
Yeah.
Right, sorry.
That's it?
Yeah,
so F. That's it, your second, that's it. It's got to go down 2 frets. The note on the second finger's got to go down 2 frets.
That's what I'm saying. So that's...
On that string. Yeah.
But that's...
Just keep it on that string.
Right,
yeah, it's an open string. So how are you going to do that with an open string?
But then I've got a horrible note. Oh, you're doing thumb and crikey O'Reilly.
That's it. And I use the third finger to sit in between the 2 strings to get both of those. If you put it like right in the middle of the 2 strings, you can hold both notes down at the same time.
Shut the front door. It's not possible.
It is.
That's advanced lesson.
But you can hear what a nice... I love that chord.
That is a nice chord.
And so I always use that on an F chord. I love these sort of...
And it's only it is the G string that's the bugger there, isn't it? Otherwise you could just it's just a...
Yeah.
Wow, what a difference in the...
Yeah.
You got to get that string.
That's it. First finger's touching it. First finger's touching it. The tip of your first finger. That's it. Now you got it. Yeah.
So anyway, sorry about that. Everybody's digression there.
So the first bit of homework for you and you out there, if you're going to kind of follow along with this stuff, is to learn the caged shapes in the sus2 and the sus4 shape on each of the caged systems. So C, A, G, E, and D. Sus4, sus2. Okay, and then in the next session we're going to start exploring how to move the cage system around on the fretboard to join up, and then we might add the sus chords in there if you get really good.
And that's how you're playing the D shape on the, if you want to play.
Yeah, but it's horrible. Okay. Yeah, it is. But you'd never play it like that. See, that's the thing. That you wouldn't like to play that. I can do it, but it's a bit awkward to jump to.
So would you just play it with it? You just play it.
I'd just play that. Or I'd play a sus2 because I can always play a sus2. So I'd leave out that.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I get the nice sus2 sound anyway. But that's for another lesson that shall be told another time.
I suppose you could play it with
Say bye-bye to the good people out there.
Sorry, yes, goodbye, please. I'm having another lesson. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing the cage system now. This is, what number was this?
With
7. So this was on your channel. So if you want the next installment, you have to go to my channel. And they alternate.
They do. And if we've got that wrong, it's just the other way around.
No, we've definitely got it right, because you're the odd one.
We're the odd ones, are we?
Yeah, you're the odd one.
That's how I like it. Me and Pete, the odd couple.
Yeah. Don't they know it? Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, that's good. It's crazy.